Hello and welcome to Hollow Acres Homestead. My name is Stephanie. Today we are out in the garden. It is August now. Happy August. I have not posted pretty much at all last month. I think I did in the beginning of July, but I ended up hurting my neck pretty bad, so I spent the entire month recovering. It took a lot longer than I thought that it would. I did come out here a couple times and do a couple of things in the garden, so the videos after this video are going to be pretty much all from July. But I wanted to walk around real quick and kind of look at things. It has been raining, it is humid. I'm seeing I haven't gone through the garden yet. I'm just kind of standing up at the top. But just by looking at my melons, I can already see sickness in the leaves. So let's go ahead and just take a walk around. This is not a garden tour, but look at this garden. So here are our melons. We did end up picking only one melon. I could not get a single Tigger melon to grow, and now the top is dead, so I'm going to come out here and fix that. I am going to keep letting them grow, though I do not think... Oh, look! Happy little melon there. I do not know if I'm even going to get a whole lot of melons before our first frost. So our first frost date is mid-October, the 15th to 20th. I looked it up, but I can't remember what it said. We got a couple of, this looks like a honeydew, but I thought these were cantaloupe. I don't know. Let's see if we have any over here. We do. See, this also looks like a honeydew, so I don't know. I guess we'll just find out as they grow. It came unraveled. We'll just plop her up there. And we've got some diseased leaves. I'm going to come cut those off. Something bored in here. There we go. Got some kind of little boring insect.
Hello.
Well, I think we have 2 or 3 melons. You want to say hello?
Hey.
Our tomatoes are looking very nice.
How long did Jenny have left on the switch?
I don't know. Let them play on the switch, honey. Our tomatoes are looking lovely. It did just rain, so I'm not going to pick anything unless it falls. Because if you pick tomatoes after the rain, they'll be full of water. And I do not like watery tomatoes. This bed behind me is full of tomatoes. Literally, I think I planted like 40 plants in here. This is something that I won't do again, just because I can't get anything to hold the weight up. I know if I had cattle panels, those would work better. But I don't think I'm going to do a full bed anymore. What I'll probably end up doing is one line of tomatoes and multiple beds being held with cattle panels. But these things are pretty tall. I mean, it's coming all the way over this arch here. And for it to stretch this far, it has to be at least 11 feet tall, if not taller. I'm a whole whopping 5'1", so it's double plus me. I still need to fix these. I meant to do it last month, but I hurt myself, so I wasn't able to. We'll duck. Oh, look. Got a Kellogg's breakfast in there ripening up. Come on, focus for me. Lovely. I think the mirror inside of the camera might be fogged up. We cleaned it a couple of times, but still looks foggy. Here we are at another tomato bed. It's gotta be, the inside's gotta be fogged up. Now this one, I came and I supported, and I do have a video on this. I supported it with new stakes that I bought, and this yarn woven cattle panel like contraption. There were so many tomatoes in this bed that it just pulled it down, especially after all this rain. It's holding them up, I guess it's doing what it's supposed to do. I am worried that this one here is going to bend, which is going to make it a little harder to use in the future. But my tomatoes aren't on the ground, so I'm not complaining. Look at this beautiful orange one that has been eaten by bugs, you stinking bugs. I haven't been able to harvest one orange one yet that doesn't have bugs in it. I want an orange tomato. Back here, this was our sunflower bed. All the sunflowers have died off. And now we've got weeds. So what I'm going to do is come through, pull up everything, and I will be planting onions and lettuce and parts of my fall crop back here in this back bed. This side of the garden gets the most sun. So putting them where the sunflowers were, I think, is going to be the best thing to do. Especially whenever the days will be getting shorter, starting very soon. Okay, I'm having a really hard time keeping the fog out of the camera. So I'm going to go through this as quickly as I can, but still be able to show you what's going on here. So in this bed here, I did have cabbages. They all pretty much went to seed. I replanted my spaghetti squash because it all died on the other side of the garden. I'm getting some in here. I did fertilize the other day, but I think the rain washed it, so I'm going to refertilize. I'm very happy to see that at least I'm getting some. I did have one good-sized spaghetti squash that was growing on the arch back there somewhere, but what happened was boring. I'm assuming they're ants. I really do think that it's ants that are on the arches. Now, all of my arches are made with old wood, trees that I had cut down on the property, and vines and things, and I think there are some ants in some of them. Bored right through the squash. It was all mushy and gross on the inside. I was hoping to have been able to save some seeds, but that didn't happen. But anyway, what I did to prop these up was I had 2 sticks, and now that I actually have my stakes, I could actually go back and support this much better. But I took my potato tower apart, and I used the wiring that I had, and the fog is back. All right. Power through. So I have the squash up like this, hoping that nothing's going to get to them. Got a lot of blossoms, got a couple of fruit. So far, so good. And in this bed, I replanted eggplant, and they're coming nicely. We have celery down here, and there's some mushrooms growing in there. Okay, that's much better. So over here I have eggplants in this bed. These are eggplants. I don't know which kinds they are. They're either Rosa Bianca or Long Purple. I also have celery growing. Got some, I don't know if the variation on the leaves, if it's supposed to be variated. These are tall Utah celery. So either we've got a little disease or they're supposed to be that color. I am going to look it up and make sure. Got one tomato plant in there that I really need to stake up. More eggplant. I think that this was a lettuce that is going to seed. I'm going to let it happen. Over in this bed were all the carrots previously. They did not do well in this soil, so I pulled them all out. Got a whole bunch of little tiny carrots. I did replant carrots in all of the beds behind me. Literally every single bed. I don't know if they're even going to grow. I do need to order some more carrot seeds, so I need to do that. But anyway, in this bed I have more celery. I didn't know where really to plant my celery. I have it on the other side of the garden, and it's just now starting to grow. Now these celeries I planted back in March, and I really figured they're way past their growing season. By now we should have edible celery, but it's just taking off. Over here we have a bunch of dead cucumbers. I am going to pull all the vines down. I already reseeded, so I'm waiting for them to come up. This bed just does not do well, and I don't know why. It has the same soil. It gets a really good amount of sun. Maybe I'll just throw some new compost on top and call it that. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, well, I missed this bed. Over in this bed, we have the peanuts that I planted oh my gosh, a while ago, and they're still not producing any peanuts on the bottom. We've got some little plants here, more celery. I mean, see, that's why I'm putting so many things in different beds, because certain things, no, this is a weed, certain things are not growing the way that they're supposed to. I'm like, these are getting burned, but this is like super shaded area, so I don't understand. This is our pumpkin patch. Everything pretty much has died. Pumpkins don't grow over here. I thought that they had enough sun. They get about 6 hours. Guess that's not enough. Pumpkins need 6 to 8 hours, but I guess 6 hours is really not what they want. They want the 8 hours. So I'm not going to be able to grow pumpkins here. I did put a whole bunch of pumpkin seeds at the top of the house, and they're growing plants. No pumpkins yet. I don't even think they're going to. I think that that is something I'm going to have to plan to grow at the new property. Okay, so behind me, the dead pumpkin patch. And I'll actually tell you what I plan on doing back there. What I originally wanted to do, even before the pumpkin patch, was put a gazebo there. Some sort of sitting area, or maybe even another greenhouse. I don't know, to house the trees, because I'm growing so many trees. Of course, right now all my trees are in the greenhouse, and I'm not really starting many seeds. Well, I am, but not like I did when I first started the season. There's a lot of things in my head right now. But what I want to put back here is a sitting area or another greenhouse to hold the trees, but I want somewhere down here to sit. I mean, yeah, I've got my one little sad bench at the top up there, but that's not enough. I really want to be out here more, especially with it getting fall. Fall is my favorite time of the year. It is cooled down. There are a lot of scattered, cloudy days, which I love. They're the best days. So I'm going to keep thinking on that, and I'm actually working on drawing up plans. So when I know what I'm doing, I'll share with you. Okay, I cannot keep the fog out of the thing. I don't know when it's going to fog up, so I'm not taking my eye off of my camera thing. Don't know the terms, can't think properly right now. In this bed, we had a bunch of onions. They did not grow like they were supposed to. We only got little tiny baby onions, so they've all been pulled up. I planted some beans. We got some weeds growing in there. There's one tomato plant. Our peppers are doing wonderful. Look at those purple peppers. I love purple peppers. Got a purple one down at the end that looks like it's starting to turn red. Why are you turning red? Oh, because, ew. Pull you out. Get out of there, you rotten thing. Yeah. You're rotten, but you don't come off very easy. Yucky. Our beautiful peppers. In this bed we have our spicy peppers and okra. And deer keep coming by and eating all of the okra, so they have grown back. Oh, and they've come back with a vengeance. We've got some good sized okra on there. There we are. And oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. So that's going to be woody and not taste very good, but look how huge that thing is. Here's my hand. Wow. Oh, the fog is setting in. This is our back tomato bed. Again, I made the mistake with putting way too many tomatoes back there. We've got some that are ready. In front we have our trees, most of which are pecan. Most of them are pecan trees. Over in this crazy mess of a bed, more sunflowers. I love these. Evening sun. Ooh, scary ants. Those are the ants I'm allergic to. Regardless of the ants, they're still beautiful. I have a couple of tomato plants in here that I really do need to stake up. I planted more beans. I put a lot of beans in this bed. Once I get those tomato plants up, you'll really be able to see where the beans are and what I'm working with. That is a tomato plant. Those are supposed to be daisies. Alrighty. Here we have asparagus and weeds. Now our asparagus is perennial, so it'll stay here. I do need to fix the bed. I can see it's falling apart. I get 30 seconds and it starts fogging up. All right, let us hurry. More peppers. Oh, lovely pepper growth. Lovely, lovely. Look at that pretty bell pepper. All almost ready to be picked. Cayenne peppers haven't turned red yet. Look at this this isn't a magnolia. Why can't I think? This marigold. This is such a big, bushy marigold. It's the only one of my marigolds that is that big. Well, they grow really well over here, actually. Beautiful flowers. And they haven't produced any flowers, though. It's just getting really bushy, so there might be too much nitrogen in this back bed. Nice tomato plants. I believe these back here are pink ox heart. I know that these for a fact are. And I staked these up with potato towers that I took apart because I really needed the support, and this is exactly what it needed. Beautiful marigolds coming down here. Lovely. I planted more beans in the front row. Our sacrifice bed of tomatoes, and of course, the deer have been back here. You can see they've eaten. Yay, yay. And they stayed away from my other plants. You know, that was the goal. The whole goal of the sacrifice bed is to keep those dang deer away from everything else. They did eat a lot of okra though, but it's okay, they're coming back. So we are now in the greenhouse. My mother-in-law sent me a bunch of fig clippings, and I put them in rooting hormone water, and I can see some roots starting. Right, let's see. Please focus. I can't hold this and focus it at the same time. Let's see if anything else. No. Well, the little figs that are left are not squishy, so I guess it's doing its job. So I'm trying to root these to grow some fig trees. Oh, it fell off. But my mother-in-law sent a bunch of figs home with me, and I'm just so happy that I have those, and I need to figure out how to use the figs that I have inside. Lovely growth of the dragon blood tree. That's what I have 5 left. I planted 11. I have 5 left. We have more trees, apples, oranges, Bing cherry trees, Honeycrisp apple, pears. Oh, I need to water these. Sad lettuce. Very sad. It's so hot in here. Wow. 4 days. I planted these 4 days ago. That's amazing. So I'm going to water these and get them out of the greenhouse. Dill, blue bonnets, more trees that I need to water. These are red apple. And then I've got cherry trees down here and kumquats, and some animal got in here. Well, I lost that one. And this is d'Anjou pear. Over here are kumquats, clementine orange that I really need to pot up. More apple trees. Gala, I think? I don't know. And then things going to seed over there. So mostly trees in here and things for the fall garden. Maybe I should probably take all of that out because it's just too hot in here. I need to water the zucchini. Where am I going to put the zucchini? I guess I could put them in the long bed over there. It's probably what I'll do. See how they do over there. But I'll put these out and I will take you to the other side of the garden. I need to come water. I did not show you the back tomato bed. I just kind of glanced you at it, but there's nothing too fancy happening back there. Same thing that's happening up front, really. So here are the herb gardens. And I come out here every couple days and I harvest from here. I just did it the other day. Pulled some weeds. Oh my gosh, I get so many herbs. It's probably the most productive crop I have is the herbs. And look at this guy. We have a garden friend. I'm not going to get too close because he creeps me out, but... Hello, banana spider. Come on. Almost. Come on. That's about as focused in as I can get. My little banana spider friend there. Guarding the eggplant. Our eggplant are doing wonderful. got rainbow tomatoes over there. Wonderful eggplant. See, a little tiny. They're doing great. And I have more celery in here. Celery everywhere. Our arches. I planted, this is where I originally had beans. I planted in some okra, so we've got some okra to come harvest. There's tomatoes on this far wall. Tomatoes all the way down that I need to support. And one here. That's just kind of doing its own thing. More arches, and I have a wall of tomatoes here as well. So many tomatoes. You want to know what I found out this year? Don't like tomatoes. I thought that I really did, and I guess I do. I love tomatoes on my sandwiches. I like my sauces. I don't care for ketchup, but I don't like tomatoes. Like eating them whole or raw, or maybe it's just the tomatoes that I'm growing. I don't know. They're not as good as, I thought they were supposed to be. But then I started thinking, when I buy them from the store, I usually don't eat them either unless I put it on a sandwich. So I will never again grow this many tomatoes unless it is for the purpose of a market garden, which I do plan on having whenever we move, at the next property, the next house. I definitely want to have a market garden. My purpose for this, yes, I love gardening. It's fun. It's stressful, it's frustrating, it's expensive. I get to grow food. I need to be able to find a way to pay for my very expensive hobbies and things that I like to do. So this is gonna have to, at some point, bring in more than it's costing me. So far, just this past year, for me expanding my garden and selling extra starts and things, I did not make what I spent. Which, is okay. It's the first year, so what's going to happen? I only went to the farmer's market maybe 4 times, maybe 5 times. I got about half of what I spent back. I'm also super cheap and very frugal, so I did things a lot cheaper, and I cut a lot of corners than it would have been had I actually, done more with the garden, got the proper, supports and things like that. Like I was talking, the cattle panels and the T-post and those things. But I did pretty good, I will say. There's a lot of growth. We've gotten a lot of food, a lot of tomatoes, a lot of eggplants. We're gonna have so much celery. I'm really hoping for those spaghetti squash. That's why I keep planting them. I'm going to figure out in this garden which bed is best for what vegetable or fruit that I'm trying to put in it. I have not successfully been able to grow strawberries or pumpkins or squash. They just keep dying. I come out here and I spray with neem oil and I do certain things like that, but mostly I don't do very much fertilizing because I don't want the beneficial bugs to go away. However, there are those bugs that just bore into my fruits and my vegetables and things that I don't want, and I need to figure out what can I do to get rid of those bugs without getting rid of the bugs that I need, like ladybugs and my little banana spider friend over there. And the bees and, well, there's more, but I can't think of them right now. Now, I do have a big wheelbarrow, and there's crap in the ground, and it's not entirely clean. I don't think that my idea to put the pumpkin patch here was a bad idea because of these big trees and everything hanging down. It probably wasn't the best spot, and, I did know that. I really did. I really think I'm just going to come in here and do the gazebo that I wanted to do. I'll move this soil and this hay, and what I'll do is I'll put it in that very top bed where I plan on putting a bunch of potatoes, not tomatoes. So I'll be able to fill that in, and I have more soil at the top. I did buy another trailer worth of soil. I spent a lot of money on soil. A lot of money. Which is ridiculous when you think about it. All the money that you spend on soil to get something to grow, but there's already soil on the ground. Of course, it's not very good soil, which is why you buy the soil. So over here, I am going to put in a gazebo. It is not going to be anything super fancy. I'm going to use the wood that I have. laying around, just like I've kind of done everything else. I do have some wood left from the beds that I made. I have some decking boards and things left. I have a lot of pallets, so I'm going to see what I can do leveling pallets, you know, and using the pallets as the ground, and probably some, I have 12 really big trees that do not look like they're rotting. So I'm going to check them. I'll probably use those for the supports. As far as the roof, the greenhouse fabric, you know, I could store my trees and other seedlings and things over here whenever they're hardening off, maybe. I don't know, but something is going to happen over here. And I didn't show, but over here, when I moved this back bed, I did leave the plants there. So I've got some tomatoes growing over there and some okra, and they're not doing very well because, I mean, they're growing, but it's just greenery. They're not actually giving me any fruit. And, you know, they only get like 2 or 3 hours of sunlight, so I don't expect them really to do a whole lot. So I'll pull up all of that, and right there, I want to put a fire pit and some seating. Now, this is downhill, so I am going to have to figure out the best way to support seating in a fire pit going downhill to still make it even. I will have to dig into the earth and you know, build certain types of seating or furniture or whatever you want to call it to be able to be level in a downhill kind of slope. So there's more thinking on that needs to be done as well. Well, there's a lot going on here. I have a lot of work to do, a lot of catch up because I've not been doing very much lately. I have supported some tomatoes and I have done a couple of other things, but the garden has been neglected this last month, and it's because I've been healing. I hurt myself, and it's very important to take care of yourself, especially whenever you're hurt. I am very stubborn, and I also do not do well with staying still and not doing anything. So it has been hard for me not to come out here, but now that I haven't been out here for a month, I'm like, ugh, the garden, you know. Well, that's all I have for today. It is humid. I haven't checked. Let's check. Now we get to the end, and I don't have to stop every minute and a half or 30 seconds or 45 seconds and clean off the inside of my camera. Now we're at the end. Now we're done, and it's like, okay, I'm done fogging up. It's good. Well, thanks for stopping by the homestead. I'll see you next time. Bye.